The culture of a people must continuously serve them, nourishing their inspiration, guiding their action, and providing consolation and comfort, balance and equanimity in both their joys and sorrows. If there be a culture totally divorced from their life, soon enough then the people would reject that culture and walk out of its salutary and rejuvenating embrace. A culture, when sustained through its religious practices, if it has no elasticity, will come to choke the growth of the community, and the people will then outgrow that culture. If an unyielding iron ring is put around a growing tree, in time, as the tree grows, the ring will be swallowed up into the very dimension and growth of the vigorous tree. Many are the different cultures that had thus withered away into chaos because they had not the elasticity to embrace the new girth into which the community has grown. Our Bharatiya culture, as expressed through Hinduism, never died through all these millenniums only because our culture had the required elasticity to embrace all the new dimensions into which our society grew along the march of time. The ideas enshrined in the Upanishads, couched as discussions held by the rishis and their disciples in the forest of vastness along the Ganges banks, the way of life and the eternal values that were preached therein gathered in the minds of the people an association with the mountains, the trees, the silence, and the spirit of retirement of the jungles. In short, the Upanishadic philosophy came to carry about itself, for no fault of their own, the fragrance of the forest, the hum of the Ganges, and the hymn of the eternal snow peaks. In the history of our cultural growth, thus, a time came when people felt that to live Hinduism is to live in retreat, away from the rush of the people, the noise of the marketplace, the struggles of the rustic fields, and the moving into the silence and quietude of the Himalayas. Such a dangerous concept was prevalent not only among the unintelligent and the uninitiated, but even the educated and the well-informed men of action themselves shared in this national misconception of their own life-giving culture. Arjuna himself felt the need for renouncing the world and refusing to fulfill his duties towards the community in order to retire into the silent arbors of contemplation and meditation. This is against the very dynamic spirit of the Hindu culture, against the very national security of the country, against all the material welfare of our people. Left to itself as a culture, however sacred and benevolent it be, must surely die away. The people would bravely march out of the nourishing embrace of a culture when its interpretations happen to be thus an insistence against the welfare of the people. It is at such a time, a crucial cultural crisis in our country, the genius of Sri Vedavyasa produced the Bhagavad-gītā, all through keeping his pen faithful to the fundamental thoughts of the Upanishads, their sane conclusions, their demonstrated theories, and their spectacular achievements. Here in the Bhagavad-gītā, we find a practical handbook of instruction on how best we can reorganize our ways of thinking, feeling, and acting in our everyday life and draw from ourselves a large gush of productivity to enrich the life outside and around us and to emblazon the subjective life within us. As we proceed on into our serious study of the Gita, chapter by chapter, we shall find how she unfolds a way of life by living which we can grow to be socially more productive men and individually more balanced and tranquil, pursuing our life at peace with ourselves. Without this inward balance and the readiness to act well in the world outside, how can an individual ever successfully face his own problems in life? when each individual fails to face the challenges outside him, since the community is made up of individuals, the community will not be able to face its own or the nation's problems. In fact, there can never be a nation which has not any problem to face. The more vigorous the national life, the more pestered must we be with our problems. To have problems is the expression of a vigorous life. And where there are no problems, there the community has decayed and the nation is dead. A problem becomes a problem only when we know not the solution for that problem. If supposing I have enough money in my pocket and I am in a town where there are many eating places, and if at that time I feel hungry, the problem of hunger to me is not a problem, since its solution is entirely within my reach. If I have no money, or if I am in a place where I have money but there are no places to procure the necessary food, then the problem of hunger there becomes really a problem because the solution is not readily available for me. Similarly, when one is ill, apparently serious, to one's own well-wishers and relatives it is a great and tragic problem. But to the doctor who can diagnose the disease properly, and when that doctor knows the medicine, which is in plenty available in the local market, then to that physician it is no more a problem. Thus, life is a problem only when we know not how to meet the life's challenges arising around us. When that knowledge is revealed to us, we know the solution, and then the problem is no more to us threatening or despairing. In fact, when we know the solution for a problem, we are ready to act, then indeed such problems come to serve as chutney to life. Prince Arjuna of the Bhagavad-gītā represents in himself the confused and the desperate youth the world over. The Pandava prince is painted in the Gita as suffering the universal disease of all young hearts, the problem phobia, to take things and happenings as problems where there are none and to feel terribly despaired of them. The modern youth is very much suffering from this problem phobia, very much indeed all over the world. In the Bhagavad-gītā, the man making signs of the Upanishads is brought out of the forest to serve us where we are suffering, in the marketplace, in the slum huts, in the drawing rooms, in the commune, or at the barricade. The outstretched hands of Mother Gita, ready and willing always to lift all intelligent young hearts from their dirt and filth, are today often ignored in our utter confusion of mind. We are today totally ignorant of the security which Gita's motherly embrace can provide and the divinity of her reviving touch. These are times when religion must march out of the forest and temples, churches and mosques, gurudwaras and vihars, into places where man is striving in his despair and turning sour in his incorrigible cynicism and impossible disillusionment. Gita is a ready-made textbook which serves us where we are, whoever we may be, whatever may be our problem, irrespective of the place and time, caste and creed. Gita serves us. This is the special charm of the scriptural textbook, the Bhagavad-gītā.